Okay, major event. Major event incoming. One of the broadcasts I should probably suspend for 24 hours to review. Anyway, right. Okay. I'm gonna let off steam. So Sabine Curio McNeil, Slavic German activist, long-time companion of Belinda Mackenzie, alleged MI5, CERN employee, mathematical genius, Dresden survivor. Sabine McNeil, for whom I've championed, I have. And many like Abraham Christie and Ella Gariva and many others have said she's an agent, she's an asset, she's this, she's that. And I've stuck in her corner, but she's let me down. We were supposed to broadcast today at 2 o'clock, and I'm so subject to codependence and people pleasing and seeing the best of it, the best in people, that even if Sabine suddenly came on stream now, I would probably listen to her excuses as to why she didn't show up. So I'm just going to try and spit some truth that I intended to. So it's possible, it's very possible. Right, I was the last one standing. Seemed that way anyway. Reporting on the Hampstead case after Sabine got jailed, Rupert got jailed, Alan Allenson got jailed, Jake Clark got sectioned, Debs Mahmoodier got cautioned and gagged. Belinda Mackenzie got allegedly told to take everything down internationally on threat of house raid. So I thought I was the last one standing. And the torture and persecution I've had to suffer for the last 8 years, and my children, has been horrendous. Like, I was going to share, I might just share it anyway. Right. I think this was a poison pen letter. I had great researchers, I had great help, right? And according to the researchers, this was 50 poison pen letters sent around my community by Shiva Burton, aka Sue Melrose. Right. And if it wasn't her, never mind, let's just find it. I'll show you. Yeah, I've got it here. Because people came to me and said, oh my God, what is this? Like 50, approximately 50, these poison pen letters were sent out around Ireland, really, to my children's schools, to their soccer clubs, to the local Gardaí, to our family therapist who was scared shitless, right? To every newspaper I've ever published in as a journalist in Ireland, and so on and so forth. So I'm just, fortunately, a good local cop said, "What the fuck is this?" And a good neighbour said, "What the fuck is this?" But this amateur poison pen letter writing campaign was only part of the Lucian Greaves, John Kilrush, Hampstead smear campaign. Wow. Wow, I've still got, Right, I'm going to show you all of this. John Kilrush. Now, David Shurter thinks that John Kilrush, the fake avatar, is Lucian Greaves, Doug Messner, Doug Masico. But I have to say, if you hear this, David, and you're doing amazing work lately, well done. But if you hear this, John Kilrush, according to my researchers who are amazing on the UK side of things, has a guitar shop in Brighton or somewhere, you know, not near Ricky Dearman, you know, or Sussex, like, you know, the counties. And they found a company called Kilrush Guitars. And a lot of these, sadly, a lot of these Satanists, Luciferian troll monsters, they're very gifted, like with music and whatever. So anyway, so on in Europe, we established John Kilrush as a different person from Doug Masico, about whom there's going to be a great expose tonight at midnight with Dana Dudar, Rotting Jewels on YouTube, exposing Lucian Greaves, you know, further exposing him as the face of the process church. Lucian Greaves has tortured me and my family at least since 2015. He did things right. Here's one. I'm going to show this. Right. This is Hampstead Research poison pen letter, and I will read it into the record. But it was like, it was sent to my children's schools. It was sent to my local police. It was sent to our family therapist. It was sent to neighbours. It was sent to every newspaper I published in Ireland. It was sent to charities that I've donated to. It was utterly brutal, right? How's that happen? Right, so I'm just going to show. There were a few more things I wanted to expose. I wanted to say that possibly, and I'm going to name names now, Caroline Cottier, who now has another name, was married to a probable MI6 agent, son of an Iranian father and American or English mother. Sorry, Caroline. I'm done carrying your stuff. But anyway, allegedly, Caroline helped expose a huge paedophile ring in Europe. And I suspect that was do true, right? And Caroline was one of the early Hampstead activists, and she attended a lunch at Belinda's hub in Highgate. And Rupert, you know, CIA extraordinaire, sent in one, you know, came to film the lunch. And Carolyn and one other, I think it was Jockney Beth, like, don't put me on film. Oh no, my God. Oh, don't, you know, can't film me. Carolyn said it was because she'd exposed a paedophile ring previously and had death threats, and she and her son were living in terror in Luton. And Jockney Beth, I don't know what her excuse was, only I helped her get 30 grand compo in an Edinburgh court where she successfully prosecuted the headmaster of a children's home for abusing her, but she forgot to say that her whole family was Freemasonic and she'd also been abused by her parents and grandparents. So sorry, Beth, if you're still alive, and you enjoyed your 30 grand. Um, I'm in a new phase where I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper, right? So let me try and stay focused with that. So, back to that, right? So, Carolyn Cottier, who had a husband living in Dubai or Saudi Arabia or somewhere, and convincing her to live in Luton with their son and telling her it was for her safety. When she got involved with the Hampstead children's case and started advocating and attending lunches at Belinda's and so on, he told her that he had paid £3,000 to have Ella and Abraham's phones hacked. And he told her they were so heavily implicated that she needed to back off big time. I won't repeat again the details he told her, but at that time, Carolyn believed in her husband, who to me was complete con. Like he had her and her son living in Luton near her parents, convincing her that he had to live in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or wherever. And even when he gave his son an iPad and it showed up a porn site, and when Carolyn said, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "Oh, we've been hacked. We've been hacked." And Carolyn experienced some serious hacking, which I think is MI6, IDF, like, yeah, it's CIA, serious hacking. And she showed me in real time where her computer would be taken over, just like Jackie Charlotte Ward's phone would be taken over in Suriname. Just like that. I haven't fully disclosed the horrors of what Ricky Dearman, Karen Irving, Lucian Greaves, etc., have done in my life. But I'll give you one example: is when my sister was murdered, they made a profile using her face, and then started sending me videos and messages saying, "I'm so ashamed of you. You're such a liar." They targeted my children because they identified that, like Scientologists or processed church people or Talk New York and Talk Sydney, they're trained to identify your weak spots. So they identified mine was my children, and then they started targeting my children to the extent that I have temporarily lost one of them and generationally lost access to my grandchildren. And this would be because of the likes of Prue Halliwell, who came in with me as a supposed Hampstead research defector and did about, maybe 10 shows with me, and we had such fun. And then utterly flipped on me and said things like, "You beat me up in London in 1984, or you're making millions," or and threatened things like, "If your children ever let your grandchildren see you, I will get them taken off. I will get them confiscated." And these kind of trolls, they don't make empty threats. They can actually, Prue Halliwell, Heather Brown boasted that she got Tracy Morris's grandchildren confiscated by social services at the grave of their mother. At the grave. And although I think Tracy Morris is hugely compromised and an unfit mother, I have to say it. I have to say it. She introduced me to Joe Van Tonder. Sabine, you and I were supposed to discuss Joe Van Tonder, propagated by Tracy Morris as an amazing lay litigant, Mackenzie friend, ex-South African white policeman. And I went to stay with him for 2 weeks, 2 days. Him, his wife, and his 2 sons. And when I reported that evidence, and he agreed to let me record, where he said he had been conned by Scotland Yard, and that when he questioned them, they wouldn't answer him. They had basically secured a parental alienation argument out of him for Ricky Dearman on the Hampstead case. And when he said, okay, there's a couple of questions I've got, something's like not adding up, they just blanked him. Once they got his first academic report and published it, and they got 3 other people he recommended as parental alienation specialists from America and the UK, they let him go. But even though Joe Van Tonder, with a 20-year younger second wife and a younger son who'd been taken for 9 months on suspicion of child abuse, Joe Van Tonder gave me permission to publish our discussions. But when I published them, he rang me hysterical from Maynooth, County Dublin, saying, special brancher outside my house. I've just had a brick through my window, and take the videos down, please. And the same thing happened with Happy Brewer. Happy Brewer came to me through Sabine. He is a children's home survivor, made good. You know, dealt with his addictions, got sober, got successful, got commissions from the BBC and ITV and so on and so forth. Got a gorgeous second wife, trophy children, trophy house within viewing distance of Hampstead Christchurch, which was implicated by Elisa and Gabriel. And Happy Brewer had already had a documentary published about child abuse, and when he saw Sabine's releases about the Hampstead children's satanic ritual abuse case in 2014, he went down to the school and he filmed, according to him, I might still have the recording somewhere, he filmed connecting passages between Christchurch Primary School and Hampstead Christchurch Church beside the school, which I attended with Carolyn Cottier and Babs, you know, the one that faked her suicide. Anyway, Babs, Carolyn Cottier, myself, Christiane Sands, Neelu Berry, like, you know, we all went there. Not to lose this, right. So, keep dissociating because it's so painful. So I can't remember what else. Right? I wanted to pray with Sabine Psalm 91. Right, so Carolyn Cottier told me that her likely MI6 husband had hacked Ella and Abraham's phones and found them to be also complicit. However, her husband never produced the evidence, and Jake might be saying since then they're divorced. And I smelt a rat about him anyway, because he was working in Dubai or Saudi Arabia or somewhere and telling her she needed to stay in Luton with their son, with him visiting like maybe 3 times a year. Oh, you stay there for safety, and I'll be out here working in the Middle East and everything's fine. And then she found on the iPad he gave to their son a porn site, and she's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh no, we've been hacked. We've been hacked." Right? What a liar! What a liar! And Jake, please tell the truth. I hope Carolyn told the truth. Like, she was at the luncheon, the infamous luncheon that Rupert filmed and lost all his footage when his laptop got stolen in California. After he got released from prison, he went back home to California, and then he went on this idyllic dream, weed farming, marijuana farming. But then he discovered that women were going missing all over the place and rituals were taking place, uh, connected to the weed farm he was working on. And he ended up fleeing for his life, and he lost his laptop, maybe conveniently, with all the evidence. With all the evidence. But if Rupert would tell the truth, aka Wilson, aka another sent in one, because I had a flashback nightmare last night. And I think this is witchcraft, right? I had a flashback nightmare of this. I prayed to God a couple of days ago. I said, please send me a husband to grow old with, like a companion, like just somebody I can safely love. It's probably, you know, I'm 66. But anyway, I had this nightmare about a man coming in as a boyfriend, and he took me to a swimming pool, and then he just jumped me in there fully clothed. And then I discovered he was only about 40, and I'm thinking, like, I'm 66. I can't have a 40-year-old boyfriend. Fuck off. Like, what is going on? And why did you just push me in the swimming pool with all my clothes on? And he was like holding me and hugging me and saying, it's okay, I've got you, you're safe. And I will release, oh yes, I will, Diane Phillips and Rupert Wilson, acquaintance the third or fourth, I will release a video with Diane Phillips, the ex-police surgeon and current hospital consultant in the NHS in the UK, who conned my disabled son and myself out of 5,000 in a crypto Ponzi scheme. Yeah, you did that, Diane. So I'll release that video where I told you about Rupert coming to stay with me. I invited him for 2 weeks, and I had to throw him out after a month. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave in Lanzarote. He was just like, I just want to stay here. Can we please not go and deal with Hampstead? Can we please not go to London? Can we just stay here where, I go running up the volcanoes every day and you pay for everything? Anyway, I'm spilling my guts, but I think I've missed something. I've spoken about Carolyn Cottier. I've spoken about Diane Phillips. I've spoken about Rupert Quaintance. There's someone else, but I can't remember it for right now because I've confessed my own sins that I might have been conned by Carolyn Cottier's. Here's what I suspect, right? I think Carolyn Cottier was conned by her MI6 husband to the extent she believed him when he said, "Oh, the porn on the iPad, that's not me. We've been hacked." Right. So I think she was conned. Right. I was also conned by Brian Hurl, saying he had video evidence of ritual abuse in the Hampstead case, and he was coming to deliver it to me personally. And 3 months he ran us around, me and my assistants. My assistant drove to Romford to meet him, and like we jumped through all sorts of hoops. And I think, and that's the thing I didn't realize, that one of the tactics of Lucian Greaves and Michael Aquino, now deceased allegedly, and Karen Irving and the Satanists, one of their tactics is to send in disinfo agents like Heather Brown, aka Prue Halliwell, who I still to this day, it's crazy town. And this is why I keep trying to retire, because now with AI and fake, what they call it, fake. Anyway, there's a word for it, but you could, like, people can take, they've done this to me for years anyway, where they cut and splice and take clips and manipulate them. But you can put people's faces on other bodies. You can make them say shit they didn't say, be places they weren't. And possibly the best advice I ever got from Quinn Michaels was, if you truly are a Christian, Angie, get the fuck off the internet. Because every update and change to the internet, according to Quinn and others, I believe, is done with a blood sacrifice, a ritual. And Talk New York and Sydney, which I should expose as Process Church, Scientology, cult of personality, just a con church, sadly. But what was that point I was going to make? See, whenever I go to tell a big truth, it goes out my head. Anyway, Talk New York is connected to the Process Church, connected to Scientology. I need to disclose about Est and love bombing and auditing under the disguise of deliverance ministry. It's like when people love bomb you and say, "Oh, we'd like to give you free deliverance ministry counseling," they're really trying to get your dirt. They're really trying to get some dirt on you. And I have proof of Talk New York. I was counted as leadership at one point, and one of the deliverance ministers, who had a church member pour her heart out, sent a report and included me in the email with her deepest, darkest secrets flagged. in this report to leadership. It's Process Church, it's Scientology, it's Tavistock, it's Esalen Institute. Please tune in to the Imagination podcast, although I found all sorts of red flags with that too. Freemasonic, Landmark Institute connected, secrecy covered, mass marketing. But this is how they break down societies. They show you can't trust anyone. But meanwhile, we've got some truth out. Please share this. Please support. Please subscribe. Blah, blah. Like. Anyway, thank you. And thank you, Ian Gosling, for the donation.